I'd say it's probably saying something like embarrassing that you don't like translate directly. I feel like they might think it's funny, but
And if people think it's funny, then
I'm learning Spanish. I'm not good at it. I've been doing it since just this past year. And also, people will think that I speak Spanish, and I don't. So, I'm Puerto Rican. People think that I can just fluently speak it, and I can't. And so people kind of, expect me to know more than I realistically do.
like in here or when I give a lecture or something in Spanish, I feel I shut down and I don't get embarrassed, but something happens to my brain and it starts to shut down. And
it's like you forget every word of Spanish that you've ever learned.
And I'm speaking, meanwhile, I'm talking to Julie about class, and we're just back and forth. And sometimes if people listen to me, they wouldn't even for certain know that I'm not pretty fluent in Spanish. Do you understand anything that we're saying? You got it? Okay, ¿por qué no? So what makes speaking another language kind of embarrassing when you don't know it really well? What can you guys walk us through that a little bit? Like for you, what makes it difficult?
I'd say it's probably saying something like embarrassing that you don't like translate directly. I feel like they might think it's funny, but
And if people think it's funny, then
I don't know. I don't like the judgment you would get from it, I guess. Or you might say something.
So you feel like there's judgment coming?
Yeah.
I'm learning Spanish. I'm not good at it. I've been doing it since just this past year. And also, people will think that I speak Spanish, and I don't. So, I'm Puerto Rican. People think that I can just fluently speak it, and I can't. And so people kind of, expect me to know more than I realistically do. So it's kind of just, a level of, confusing, if that makes any sense. Not so much embarrassing as much just it's just I don't know what you're saying, you don't know what I'm saying.
For you, there's an added layer of your ancestry being Puerto Rican.
Yeah, so I'm mixed, so I'm not entirely Puerto Rican.
Okay.
And I don't not super connected to that side of my culture, but people will still assume that I know how to speak it or stuff like that, or people will think that I'm Dominican, or they'll think that I'm another culture or race that I'm not. So it's more of just the assumptions.
It would be common for you to feel less Puerto Rican, not be able to really sort of grab that side of your ancestry.
Kind of, but most Puerto Ricans, a lot of them speak English, or at least Spanglish.
Yeah.
So it's not I can't communicate.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I got you. I just have this idea that you start learning a language, and then the thing that you would imagine we'd want to do is find someone who speaks that language and just start talking to them, trying out phrases, trying out words, and it just, I'm in. Oh my God, you're learning. Okay, and then go. Have you ever done that?
Not really. Sometimes I just randomly talk Spanish to my friends and see if anyone catches on, but usually most don't.
Okay, so listen, but you're just learning, right?
Yeah.
Okay, how about the three of us talk in Spanish, okay? And here's the thing, for me, so you know, I am really comfortable speaking Spanish. When I'm talking to Julie, Julie says, well, when we're talking, you're basically fluent. And although I'm not, I trip up and I don't know words, but when I talk Spanish in here, in public, in here or when I give a lecture or something in Spanish, I feel I shut down and I don't get embarrassed, but something happens to my brain and it starts to shut down. And
It's you forget every word of Spanish that you've ever learned.
And I'm speaking, meanwhile, I'm talking to Julie about class, and we're just back and forth. And sometimes if people listen to me, they wouldn't even for certain know that I'm not pretty fluent in Spanish. But I don't have that in here. And so I'm wondering, like I never get nervous, but like right now we're gonna start talking in Spanish, and I feel a little some kind of way about that. Okay? So mira, ¿cuántos años has estudiado?
Para 3 años.
3 años?
3
¿Dónde?
años.
¿En la escuela, en escuela secundaria? ¿Dónde?
En la universidad.
¿Ah, sí?
3.
Aquí en Penn State.
Sí.
3 años.
Sí.
Muy bien, entonces hablas bien.
Bien,
Más o menos.
más o menos.
¿Y vos?
Tengo un año en estudiar en Penn State.
Sí.
Sí.
¿Y quieres estudiar más en otro lugar o qué?
No sé.
¿Quisieras hablar fluido?
No.
Como los puertorriqueños?
No.
¿Por qué? ¿Por qué no? Wait,
No.
those... Do you understand anything that we're saying? You got it? Okay, ¿por qué no? Go ahead.
Like-
This is the moment. Listen, Kennedy.
Am I gonna?
This is the moment where people who are learning Spanish stop. You hit a wall, okay? And when you hit the wall, you feel that sense of maybe a shame, embarrassment. I should know, I don't know, and then you feel what's the feeling?
It's just like I don't know what you said.
Okay, and
Trying to decipher what you said.
okay.
That's all.
And if you it's okay, right?
Yeah.
Mira, tú quisieras hablar fluido el español.
Do I want to be fluent?
Sí.
Más o menos es difícil.
Sí?
Sí, es difícil. Like yeah.
No, que sí, continúas.
Um,
No ayuda, nada. Es para ella. Solamente en español.
and
So,
like,
so what I'm doing right here is I'm putting her on the spot in front of all of you. She's only been learning 1 year. Dude, you're doing really well.
gracias.
Sí, muy bien. Estás hablando muy bien. But it is these feelings of awkwardness. By the way, no hay una palabra en español para awkward.
Sí.
No existe. He tratado de como descubrir o algo, investigar este asunto y no hay una palabra.
Sí.
Okay, pero es awkward.
Yeah.
¿Por qué?
Porque yo yo soy no sabo kid.
¿Cómo?
No sabo kid.
Yeah.
It's awkward growing up. Like I don't know what y'all are saying.
Yeah.
Like, I have no idea what's going on.
Okay. But now this is it, right?
Yeah.
Entonces, mira, ¿quién es puertorriqueño? ¿Tu mamá o tu papá?
Tu papá mi papá.
¿Así?
Así.
¿Y él habla español?
No,
¿Así? Él no habla tampoco.
no español.
¿Así? ¿Él quiere hablar?
No sé.
Sí. Muy bien.
Oh.
Okay. ¿Y tú quisieras hablar más fluido?
Espero que yo... ¿Cómo se dice could en español? Podría hablar fluido.
¿Así?
Sí,
Sí, y es posible.
es posible.
Ya.
Muy práctica.
¿Tienes ganas de viajar por algún lugar para estudiar por un largo tiempo?
Sí. Espero que viajo el mundo un día.
¿Ya? Viajaré.
Viajaré.
Ya, está
Sí.
bien. ¿Entiendes? Viajaré.
To go, like to travel.
Like
viajar.
El futuro. I
Like,
will travel.
I will travel in the future. Yeah.
¿Cómo está para tú? Para ti, hablando aquí. Para ti, siempre, para mí es algo, he aprendido, si es tú o es ti, cientos de veces y siempre estoy, ahorita Julie está diciendo eso. Pobrecito. ¿Cómo está para vos, hablando aquí?
Yo no sé qué dices.
¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo te sientes? ¿Cómo está sentando aquí, hablando en español y todo?
Más o menos. Un poco nervioso,
¿Sí?
pero un poco difícil.
Ya, pero estás bien. Mira, lo que pasa es que, look, what matters is that we stop learning languages, right? We have this way we teach these languages in our world. And so many of you take language. You take language in high school, then you take some language in college, and we have these awesome opportunities to engage with others and ultimately to talk to others, to really talk, because speaking is the most important doorway into a culture. So we have these opportunities, and it's so strange that getting past the awkwardness, maybe it's because we learn, how about this as a hypothesis? Maybe it's because we start teaching language at the wrong age, right? You either start when people are really, really young, or when they're in college and they have more of a sense of self, but when it's in high school, and it's a time when people tease each other, and then we start to feel self-conscious and ashamed and all these kinds of things, and then we just say like, oh God, no,
I also think I hate whenever after a conversation I have in Spanish, I remember like what the person actually says.
Yeah.
Like, because I got what you said earlier. You were asking when did I study Spanish, and it was in high school. But I thought you meant like, do you talk like here in Spanish? So.
But it's great. But you're like you're communicating. You're communicating. Like, you get it. I mean, you see how it happens.
Yeah. I also didn't start learning Spanish until I was 18 years old, and it's like most people, especially when you like are Hispanic or Latino, it's like you learn that as a second language or even as a first language when you're very young, and like people like me who didn't learn that for various reasons, it's like you reach a certain age and it's like I'm 18 years old, the language learning part of my brain's kind of done.
Yeah.
And then
it makes it harder.
Yeah, and I'm also in the I'm in like intensive Spanish, which is like to get all the credits out of the way as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm taking in all this Spanish and like 2% of it's computing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just
Yeah, it's really it's kind of unfortunate in a way, right?
Yeah.
Because what it means is we're sort of living with these kinds of walls between us that we don't need to have. And for me, and very much what this class, one thing that this class is about breaking down those walls. And I'm wanting people to connect and communicate. Like Zion, for example, now that various Mandarin speakers know that the student body representative of Penn State is learning Mandarin. And like what that means for students from China and Taiwan, right? What it means for them is like they came here to Penn State on the other side of the world. Too often, Chinese students, and Taiwanese less so because there are so many fewer of you, but Chinese students, they stay in these kind of bubbles. Yeah. And they speak with other Chinese students, and they don't really engage outside of their Chinese communities. But look what it means that the student body represents the president, right? Is speaking Mandarin. So, you're going to get invited to the Chinese student organization to come, and you're going to speak in Mandarin. Like, you're going to do that because they know now, right? And how important that is to build these lines of communication with one another. And so for you, I think for me, when I really learned Spanish and when I started traveling around the world, speaking Spanish, different places, it just opened my whole reality up. It changed everything for me. At one time, I was like you. And in another time, I was like you. And now I'm just giving headaches to Julie, because I'm making the same mistakes over and over again. So it's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. ¿Hay algo más que quieren decir? I asked. Do you know what I asked? Do you know what I asked? Dude, see that? Hang on. What did I ask?
if you had anything else to say.
And so you're learning Spanish, or
I'm actually in Kennedy's class.
Oh, you're in Kennedy's class?
Yeah.
Awesome, man. So you're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
¿Y cómo está tu español?
Repite.
¿Cómo estás tu español?
Así.
¿Así, así?
Yeah.
Ah, muy bien. ¿Qué es esto? ¿Qué es así, así?
It's like, it's fine.
Okay, so. Okay, muy bien. ¿Y tú quisieras hablar muy bien? Okay.
Sí.
¿Puedes imaginar que algún día estás hablando más fluido?
No sé.
Sí.
No comprendo.
No comprendes.
Yeah.
Imaginas, ¿entiendes? Imaginar. Tú puedes ver el futuro.
To visit in the future?
Tú
or
puedes ver a tu futuro y algún día, así estás bien, no, el futuro, ver,
see in the future?
ya, a tu futuro, el futuro tuyo, que tú, ¿cómo te llamas?
Cassidy.
Cassidy.
Yeah.
Un Cassidy hablando muy bien en castellano, en español.
Hopefully.
Ah, muy bien, dude. Okay, awesome, man. Yo. Dude, is that cool, right? Yeah? How was that?
Bien.
Muy bien. Okay. Hey, thanks. Yeah. Thanks. Wait,
That was
hang on.
awful.
Hang on.
You're so bad
Ready?
at this. Okay, there you go.